Superman in the ICU with a kryptonite bullet.
I'm not joining your suicide squad.
We'll see.
My court date is coming up. And Miss Waller said maybe you could help me out.
You're flexing in my door!
Everyone stand down.
Miss Waller, I don't...
Stand down!
I wouldn't take such extreme measures if this mission went more important than you could possibly imagine. Are you in or out? Good. Let's meet your team.
It's okay, I'm not okay.
Each member is chosen for his or her own completely unique set of abilities.
I need to feel the raindrops on my head, on my head.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. Had to go number 2.
Good to know.
Is this thing a dog?
A dog? What kind of dog do you think it is, mate?
I'm gonna go with Afghan Hound.
Oh my god, is it a werewolf?
Yo, they tell me this to a werewolf! Yo, let me out!
Hey, he's not a werewolf, okay? He's a weasel. He's harmless. I mean, he's not harmless. He's killed 27 children, but, you know.
Your mission is to destroy every trace of something known only as Project Starfish. Any questions?
Starfish is a slang term for a butthole. Think there's any connection?
No.
No. All right. Let's get it. This is suicide.
Well, that's kind of our thing.
I'm a superhero!
What's my dad?
I want to get you out of here alive.
I'm going to get you out of here alive.
Ratatouille, what do you got?
Bird.
Now it. Stay off the comm.
Welcome to Earth 2 Comic Cast, where superheroes exist and comic book talk is the norm. It is your boy Mo Crosby. I am back with another movie review for you guys, as you could tell from the awesome trailer that just played and the banner you're staring at. If you're staring at this, if you're listening on the podcast, you heard the trailer. But if you're watching this, you are looking at the banner. We are back to give you James Gunn's The Suicide Squad spoiler-free review. I will try my best, my darndest, not to spoil this movie for you guys today, because man, this was a fantastic movie. I just came back from seeing it. This was a fantastic movie. I had fun watching this movie. It was a movie. It was a lot of movie, but this is exactly what you get when you give James Gunn the freedom with the characters and the DC pantheon and these characters and this Suicide Squad and this type of thing. We saw him do with Guardians of the Galaxy. We saw him do with Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Volume 2, and now he's doing it for DC with the Suicide Squad. And yes, this was a lot of fun. It was a fun movie. It was a big movie. As you could, if you've watched any of the trailers, you could tell this was a big movie. I mean, you've seen reviews are already out, I believe, but I'm just giving you my little maybe 10-minute review on this movie. It's sitting right now on Rotten Tomatoes at 97%. It is a stark. I'll start by saying with my review like this. It is a stark difference from the other Suicide Squad movie with Will Smith as the lead, or the leader. So it's a very, very different movie, very colorful, very vibrant. The shots are amazing. A lot of action. It's almost nonstop with the action, but this movie has heart. There's a story. There's a couple of stories in this movie where you're like, damn, like, oh, I kind of feel for these guys. Like, they're villains, but you kind of can understand a lot. There's some villain origin stories in this movie, and you're like, wow, I didn't know this. I didn't know this about this villain. That's if you've never, watched or read anything with these characters, and you would never know. And so James Gunn is very meticulous about giving you a couple of character bios in this movie, and it's not done. Hold on, I'll say right now, it's not done as a splash screen, like boom. katana. No, and it's not done like that. You know, it's done differently. And again, like I said, this is what you expect when you give James Gunn the freedom and these characters to do what he wants to do with. There's a Q and it was a Q&A at the end of the movie where James really said he came in with the pitch. This was the first thing he pitched, and they said, you know what, take it, do what you want, and he did it. So let me go in cast order for you guys and just let you know who was in this movie. As you can see, Viola Davis was in this movie. Is back as Amanda Waller, and this is my thing about her as Amanda Waller, right? You saw in the first one she was a standout. In this one, she was even more of a standout. And I'm like, if they're gonna shuffle the characters in the Suicide Squad moving forward, I'm guessing keep Viola Davis. No, I don't care how long or how much you have to pay her. Keep her going in these movies forever. Like, she is clearly Amanda Waller. She does some things, says some things that you have. If you've read any Suicide Squad books or read any Batman books with Amanda Waller in it, or even seen the animated version of Amanda Waller, she stays as Amanda Waller, and I loved it. Mind you, there's a little comedy in this movie, and even with her hardline Amanda Waller character, they play very well on the comedy line with her. So she's back as Amanda Waller. Michael Rooker is in this. He plays Savant. John Ostrander is in this. He plays Dr. Fitzgibbon. Joel Kinnaman is back as Colonel Rick Flag. Nathan Fillion is in this. TDK. Jack Courtney's back as Captain Boomerang. Flula Borg is Javelin. Mei Ling is Mongal. Pete Davidson is Blackguard. Sean Gunn is Weasel. Margot is back as Harley, and she nails it. Who am I missing? Idris Elba, Bloodsport, fantastic. John Cena steals the show as Peacemaker. Daniela plays Ratcatcher 2. Let me see. Who am I missing? Sylvester Stallone, King Shark. Amazing. David, I'm not gonna say his last name, is Polka Dot Man. Amazing character right there. Peter Capaldi plays the Thinker. Who am I missing? I think I got every major character. Yes, I do have every major character. So those are the characters. I don't know if I said them in order. Again, this is another beautiful shot of the characters. I will say this though. If you're watching this movie, if you have a favorite character in this movie, right? I'll say this right now. If you have a favorite character in this movie and you're like, oh, I hope my character makes it, I'm gonna tell you right now, you are in for a surprise. You are in for a lovely surprise, because not all the characters that come into this movie leave this movie. I'll say that right now. Not all the characters that come into this movie leave this movie. There are a lot of favorites from the last movie that don't make it out. Just know this. Everybody dies. I'm just going to say it that way. Everybody dies. No one is safe. This is one of those movies you're like, oh my God, I hope my guy makes it. I hope this person makes it. And you're like, fuck. Just like that. This movie is a surprise. There are a lot of surprises in this movie, and I was here for each and every one of them. I love the direction of this. I love the story. Again, so if there was any complaint about the last story where it didn't necessarily feel grounded, this is 100% grounded. Granted, there is we've seen in the trailer, I think everyone has kind of seen the reveal of the villain of the villain in the trailer. I have to tell you something. Get ready for that surprise. There is a lot of twists in this movie that I didn't even expect. So we've seen the trailer where this big monstrous villain, right? Even that still felt like grounded in itself. It still didn't necessarily feel like they were fighting a beam in the sky, with the first movie. I'm gonna try his best not to talk about the first movie. I just want to talk about how fun this movie was. Let me talk about my favorite characters in this movie. Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie kills as Harley, so I feel like it's almost an injustice to stay on her. I want to talk about the newer characters that we got. I really, really enjoyed Polka Dot Man. I did not think I was going to enjoy that character, but I did. I enjoyed Polka Dot Man. Peacemaker, There's a reason. There's a reason we're getting a Peacemaker TV show, and I feel 100% feel like he stole the show of this movie. John Cena. I mean, we've seen John Cena in a lot of movies where he just takes it. You know, he has the comedic timing. He has he's just something, charisma about him. He just has a lot of things about him that he can bring to characters, and he nails Peacemaker, in my opinion. When it's time for Peacemaker to get brutal, John Cena handles the brutal fight scenes very well. When it's time for Peacemaker to be funny, John Cena is really funny. It's just a lot that goes on with John Cena that I love, and I'm telling you, I really really enjoy this character going from start to finish in this movie. Bloodsport is our lead character, our leader. Of sorts. He's our, he's technically, I would say, our Deadshot in this movie, our Will Smith. He, in my opinion, did a much better job. They did a much. I'll say it this way: they did a much better job writing and giving this character a story versus Will Smith. Will Smith was there to be Will Smith and shoot. Idris Elba plays Bloodsport a lot different. I mean, granted, they're two separate characters, but he does something really good in this movie. And again, when I say there's a lot of comedy in this movie, there's a lot of comedy in this movie. Idris Elba nails the comedic timing down to a T. Like there's something his character does, and I'm like, no, there's no way this is real, and he does it, and I'm like, and everyone is cracking up, everyone is laughing, and it was fun, but it's still, when it needed, again, when the story called for him to be brutal, he was really brutal, and when it didn't, when it was time for him to be on it, he was on it. So I will say this. Idris Elba nails it as Bloodsport. I will say, one of my other favorite characters outside of Peacemaker and Polka Dot Man, Ratcatcher 2. What they did with her character and with Idris Elba, I most especially enjoyed. Again, what we're looking at is I'm not going to compare this to the other movie. I'm not going to even give that movie the time of day anymore to talk about. I'm just going to say we got a lot more a meaty story with these characters, and these what they did here. We got a lot more meaty characters. We got a lot more. There was a lot more meat to the story, and a lot more story to these characters, and a lot more heartfelt. Again, as heavy action as this movie is, there's a lot of heart. If you watch Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and you were like, dang, there's a lot of heart in this movie, James Gunn brings that to this movie, where it's still comedy, heart, action, brutal action. Is rated, I believe it's rated R. This is not for the kids, so don't take your kids to this movie. All right, do not take your kids to this movie. So yeah, the action is brutal, and it's in your face, and you're like, whoa, start to finish. I love it. I am really loving what I see here. Talking about our old characters again, Harley Quinn, loved her a lot. Joel Kinnaman is Rick Flag playing the soldier. Again, something different with him than the first movie. There was a lot more comedy to him this time, and a lot more like stuff to enjoy with Rick Flag this time. If you've watched, I think, was it Hell to Pay, and everyone is dropping like flies, this is kind of in that region. But man, this is a comic book movie through and through. When I say comic book movie through and through, elements of this movie feel like they're being ripped off the page of of a comic book, and I really enjoyed it. Now let's talk about the effects of this movie. The effects of this movie are awesome. A lot of this movie felt like practical, like a lot of the explosions felt practical, a lot of the sets felt practical versus a lot of the CG stuff. So there is some CG stuff in this movie, and the CG stuff we got in this movie, in my opinion, was fantastic. Starro is CG, but you are not. It's not. You're not lost in his CG. It's not like a murky, muddy type of CG that we've gotten in the DC universe before. Not mentioning anyone, but it's a very very textured. You could almost feels like you could touch it and feel it. So yes, I really had fun with this one. I enjoyed it. I hope we get a sequel. I'm ready to see what happens next. Granted, COVID has kind of pushed things back to where we're only, where HBO Max is giving us this movie on Warner's giving us this movie on HBO Max and in the theaters. I say go see it in the theaters because again, it's something about the community see or community watch when you're watching this movie and everyone is kind of watching it with you. you get that feeling when, you know, when stuff happens and everyone gasps at the same time and everyone feels something or laughs at the same time. You know, you get that feeling, and I think watching this movie in the theater gives you a different feeling than, say, if you see it, you know, at home, which again, there's nothing wrong. You can see it at home, go see it in the movies. It was fun. I actually went to go see it in a movie theater. My screening was at a movie theater, and I loved it. I loved the experience. Again, it feels good to be back out. You know, granted, Delta variant is out there and you know, shaky and whatnot, but I enjoyed myself. I really enjoyed watching this movie. I thought this was the best. Is it? You know what? This could be the best DC movie. It could be the best DC movie, and my best DC movie is Wonder Woman. So it could be better than that movie. Again, because this is a movie with characters that are wacky, crazy, and they gave the director the chance to actually make the characters as wacky and as crazy and make the wacky, crazy movie that he wanted to make. Again, The Suicide Squad comes out August 6th, HBO Max in theaters. Go see it. This was a spoiler-free review from Mo Crosby. I have other reviews for other movies on the channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And please, please, please come back and join us for another movie review. We'll be doing another movie review in a couple of days. So come back and join us for that. Again, like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you know when I drop another one of these reviews, man. Thank you for watching. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Robert Dubois. He's in prison for putting Superman in the ICU with a kryptonite bullet.
I'm not joining your Suicide Squad.
We'll see.
My court date is coming up. And Miss Waller said maybe you could help me out.
You're flashing in my door!
Everyone stand down.
Miss Waller, I don't...
Stand down!
I wouldn't take such extreme measures if this mission went more important than you could possibly imagine. Are you in or out? Good. Let's meet your team.
It's okay, I'm not okay.
Each member is chosen for his or her own completely unique set of abilities.